in connection to the attack in Arkansas that left a couple dead. They were reportedly killed in front of their children at Devil's Den State Park over the weekend. The children were not hurt. The husband, Clinton Brink, is reportedly from Bakersfield. Thanks to a $2.9 million grant, a specialized swim course for kids on the autism spectrum will be expanded from its original hub at Ohio State University. The program is currently limited to Ohio, but hopes are to expand nationwide, including into California. Fred Medrano, founder of Alongside Autism in Bakersfield, has expressed support for the program. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get a post like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing, subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at KERNradio.com. Chris Burdick producing on this final day in July, 7/31/25 and 7/42/31 was the day my dear sainted widowed mother was born. On this day in Savannah, GA. She is currently in Pasadena having lunch with one of my sister's dearest friends and my nephew Thaddeus. I'll be seeing her next week. My vacation begins on Monday. But in case they're in the car, no, I guess they wouldn't be in the car listening. They'd be listening on their phones. A happy Mother's Day. Happy birthday. 83 years young, Mary Harriet Dolly Bailey. And I posted a picture on Facebook of her and on Instagram of her while she was matriculating at Knoxville College in Tennessee, about 1960, 1961, about a year or two before I was born. And I think the greatest part of the picture, not only is she like 19, 18 years old, but above the picture, she writes, I'm assuming it's her, it looks like a female penmanship, Ralph's girl. And of course, she's alluding to my late father, Ralph Sr. It's kind of cool. They were met when they were 8 years old. My maternal grandfather, my mother's father, was a Baptist preacher in Statesboro, Georgia. He got a gig in Beaufort, South Carolina, where my paternal grandparents lived and were big-time members at Ebenezer Baptist Church, about 3 blocks from where my 2 nephews, my 2 uncles are living right now on 1010 North Street, where all 3 of the Bailey brothers were born, Charles, Ralph, and Irvin. And as my mother must have told friends and family 1,785 times, her father baptized my dad. There's a famous story where she was telling that story at a party. Women were in one side of the room, men were in the kitchen, and she got to the crux of the story. And my father baptized Big Ralph when he was 8. And my father said, yeah, and the Negro tried to drown my ass. And I cleaned that up. And it was the men laughed and the women didn't think it was funny. And I just remember being young and running out of the room when my mother said, oh, that's all right, Sylvia. That's okay. Because when he comes elbowing me at about 2 o'clock in the morning talking about you sleep, I'm going to say, you damn right. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to check, please. Get me out of here. I don't need to hear this. But again, happy birthday to my mom. And of course, my birthday is 3 days later. I had my sister's friend, who is a real dear friend of our family. She's done a lot for my nephew. I think she's even helped with his tuition, because the money that I sent this year wasn't the money that I sent last year. So I think she's helped out with his tuition, and she goes out there and visits my mom. In fact, she's, like I said, she's taking her to lunch. And I think she resents the fact, and it's appropriate to resent the fact that I don't go see my mother half as much as I should. I should be down there almost every weekend. But I don't think the friend knows, A, I don't drive, and that's no excuse, but she just likes to poke me every now and again. And do you know, this woman called my house or texted me this morning and said, Ralph, you do know it's your mother's birthday today. Kind of lost my temper just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I was like, well, given the fact that I've known her for 63 years and the fact that her birthday is 72 hours before mine, it is virtually impossible not to know my mother's birthday. But thanks for the reminder. And I can't even hate her because, like I said, she's a really good friend to my family. But I just was a little resentful of that. And I think that was just her way of saying, you need to see your mother more. Because, in fact, she did then return and say, oh, I hope you're coming down next week. I understand you're on vacation. And yes, of course, I am. Spend a couple days. I'm going to be here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I'm going to be down there Wednesday, Thursday. And got to be back here Friday for work, which ain't right. But what are you going to do? We got a big show today. Big show today. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Shannon Grove is going to join us. Gavin Newsom signed AB 379, which increases the sentencing for human traffickers and those that are messing with 16 and 17-year-olds, making it a felony. She'll unpack that. And, of course, Shannon has been an absolute point person on this. She's gotten several human trafficking bills across the goal line in a very hostile Assembly and Senate. We'll talk with her at the bottom of the hour. And we will unpack the story of James Andrew McGahn. He has been arrested and accused of killing Clinton and Kristen Brink, who are originally from Bakersfield. They moved, I think, twice before they settled in Arkansas. But he's a Baco boy. And it's a bizarre story. I'm sure most of you are aware of it, where they were on a hike in Arkansas and allegedly James McGahn, the man in custody, knifed the mom and dad, Clinton and Kristen, to death, but did not attack their 7- and 9-year-old children who witnessed the murder and ran and called the authorities. We'll talk about that. Mike Turnipseed will be here at 4 o'clock. Daniel Petrie will be here at 4:30. And we'll talk a little bit about the Epstein thing, this thing, just more self-inflicted wounds coming from the president. He's talking more about clemency, and he talked about Virginia Giuffre, who was one of the victims. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, her last name, Giuffre. She was one of the victims who had an interview on the Today Show and then later committed suicide. And the family is upset with the president, who talked about why he and Jeffrey Epstein broke apart was because he was stealing employees from Trump, according to the president. And one of the employees was a teenage spa girl, Virginia Giuffre. And the family is upset that he talked about this. And now they want more information from the president. If in fact, you knew this was going on, and this comes in the wake of the president's note back then to Jeffrey Epstein, talking about how Jeff likes young girls. So obviously the Giuffre family think, well, what do you know? And why won't you tell us? And now this is just ramping up more demands for everything to be released. And that's the only way to make this thing go away. This thing is like Watergate. If you just don't nip it in the bud, it's just going to go on and on. Nobody ever thought Watergate would go on for 2 years and culminate in the resignation of a president. And if Donald Trump, I'm not suggesting that Donald Trump is going to be impeached, but if this thing doesn't get nipped in the bud, if they don't release everything they have, this thing will linger and absolutely hover over his presidency, which beyond this is going extremely well. As we'll talk with Daniel Petrie at 4:30, the GDP just jumped 3%. China is on the verge of signing an agreement. The EU and 27 of their nations just signed an agreement. The Philippines are on board. Vietnam is on board. Japan is on board. And all the naysayers who predicted that we would be in a recession by summer are looking like idiots. And of course, CNN and MSNBC aren't covering the story and are just pretending like, oh, well, it never happened. Good. Google it. Google it. So we'll get into that. And the trading deadline, is the trading deadline over or is it later tonight?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock? A lot of trades going on. Dustin May, no longer a Dodger. And James, please stand by. James, holy Toledo, did I not write it down? No, Brock Stewart. Brock Stewart is a Dodger. We got him from the Twins. Pretty good pitcher, actually. I've never heard of the kid. I don't watch American League Baseball, but he has a 2.3 ERA, 41 strikeouts, 11 walks, 41 to 11. That's outstanding. And James Outman was sent to the land of 10,000 lakes. I thought there was hope for this kid, but it just never panned out. And now it's been 3 years, and we sent him to Minnesota with a 108 batting average. I'm pretty sure we got the best of that. Maybe Outman breaks out. Sometimes you need a different, atmosphere, coaching. I don't know. But a $108, bye-bye, Felicia. You know what I'm saying? Come on, $108. That's not, no. All right, let's take our first break of the day. We got lots to do on this Thursday. Our lineup for next week is set. Kathy Abernathy will be hosting on Monday. Teresa Golder, our former federal magistrate judge, will be on Tuesday. Restaurateur KC Steakhouse owner Cassie Biddle will be hosting on Wednesday. Romeo Agbalag, special counsel to Stephen Bloomberg, the chancellor of the Kern Community College District that oversees Bakersfield College, Saracosa, and Porterville Community College, will be hosting on Thursday. And Rick Bentley, KGT entertainment reporter, will be your host on Friday. Be kind to these people, especially you nitwits in the chat room. First time out, just getting started on a Thursday. My mother's birthday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Casey?
Getty Show, not only is there one new drug that's killing people faster than fentanyl did, there are a couple of them. Holy cow, kids, don't do drugs.
And August 1st will mean we're into the month where school starts again all around the country, and a whole bunch of information around that. Curriculums this year, cost of going to school, etc. On the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Limped up to KC Steakhouse last night and had dinner and sat with Liz Merrick, one of the bartenders who was off, but came in studio last night and talked about some of the different things that they're doing, some of the additions to the restaurant, some of the things going on in the stockyard next door. And I tried that Amaretto drink, and it was outstanding. Get into KC Steakhouse or the stockyard and try some of the new things on the menu, some of the new drinks they've added, and absolutely enjoy the banquet room that she's created in the stockyard for meetings, parties, election events, whatever. And you can have dinner in there or just stop by and have a cocktail either before you have dinner or after in the main restaurant. And of course, they're providing live music Thursday and Friday and Saturday nights in the Stockyard. Jimmy and Bobby are always providing live music in the main restaurant Tuesday through Saturday. KC Steakhouse. Where would you rather be than on F Street in the capable hands of Casey Battles and Casey Biddle's incredible staff?
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no, 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 no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got to go home.
842-5376-842-KERN. So I got my blood test back. I took a blood test to find out my uric acid level, which is incredibly high, so I can't even start the allopurinol. And I'm pretty much walking. I swung a golf club today, and it hurt more than it did when I thought I was back, and then I twisted my ankle. But I think I can play Sunday. I'm pretty sure I can play on Tuesday before I get out of town. Because I haven't played golf in 4 weeks, and it's like starting all over again. But there was some bad news, and I'm only talking about this to reiterate how important it is to have checkups, go see your physician, and just simply get a blood test. Because this was all about my uric acid level. But Hemel Cothry is such a good physician. He checked off a couple of other things, and he asked me, you mind if we check your PSA, which is, dealing with your prostate cancer, and can, give you indications on whether you have prostate cancer. And I said, yeah, absolutely. And it came back 3.7. I was about a 1.2 5 years ago. And anything 4.0 and above is abnormal. So I'm right on the cusp. And anything 7 and in the 10 range is likelihood of some prostate problems. And so now he believes, since I jumped so quickly in such a short period of time, that it's an infection, and I'm on antibiotics for the next 2 months, and then I've got to go see him again. And if it's still problematic, I might have to have a biopsy, and then, we'll see where we go from there. But the point that I'm making is, what if I hadn't gone and seen Cothry about my ankle? What if I hadn't had this blood test? I'm not due to see him. My annual checkup is until like October. And who's to say the number wouldn't gone from 3.7 to, by October, to 4.5 in the abnormal range, or even maybe even higher. Who knows? Didn't really ask, and I'll talk to him some more, but I didn't really ask why the increase, what causes that. Maybe we can talk about that with Jeet Singh when I get back from vacation, but it just highlights, guys, 45 and above, you really have to pay attention to your body like you pay attention to your truck or your fine vehicle. You pay attention to everything you put into that. You wouldn't not put, excuse my double negative, oil in that car or transmission fluid or all the things necessary to keep it run. And at a certain point in your life, that's how you have to treat your body. And so I've just decided I'm just going to stop drinking for a little bit. I don't know if that's related at all, but I hadn't been drinking because of the gout. So now I'm like, why should I start back up? And so I'm just gonna take it easy and pray for the best. But again, you're 45 plus. If you haven't seen a doctor in a year, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You're just absolutely taking a pair of dice and rolling them with your life. And it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I guess we're leading with the story of the Brinks. Does anybody know this family? Feel free to chime in 842-5376 or text us if you knew them. I've been reading all kind of stories, and I can't find out when they left Bakersfield or did he go to high school here? They're just alluding to that they lived here and they moved, but they were the couple that were knifed to death, authorities say, by James Andrew McGann. He was arrested in a barbershop in Arkansas, not far from where he lived. And again, it was the public. We talk about these phones and video, and you're on video the second. One of the things I keep saying, you're on video the minute you take your key out of your front door. And it was video and the public that helped them find this guy. And finally, he's under arrest. And just absolutely no motive so far. Absolutely no motive. They were on a hike with the family and did not attack the 7 and 9-year-old who are now orphans and have to live with that for the rest of their lives. I just hope they get them into therapy as quickly as possible, because I can't imagine going through that and living with that for the rest of their lives at such a young age. And it's horrible because they're at that age, 7 and 9, where they understand, you know what I mean? Like if they were like 4 and 2, they may not even remember it. They may not maybe even be able to understand what happened. But 7 and 9, no, they're well aware what happened to their parents, and they're going to have to read about it. I wouldn't be surprised if people try to get them to do interviews, which is just as unsightly as it gets. And let's just pray that they have a large family. And again, if you knew the Brinks, feel free to chime in or give us a call at 842-5376 and tell us what you know about them. Again, I can't find out whether they went to high school here, or they just lived here for a short period of time, or whether they were raised here. But it is a tragic situation. It really, really is. Coming up, we're going to talk about, there's another air incident involving a Delta flight. Man, I'm telling you, I might join the Chris Burden Club. I might join you, man. I'm really not into flying right now. I'm
not touched a plane for a long time.
Yeah, really not interested in flying right now. And they've got new information on the helicopter that hit a commercial flight in Washington. We told you yesterday about the pilot that was arrested. And it just seems, I don't know what it is, but it just seems like every day there's some sort of plane story. And a private plane crashed in, I think it was in Connecticut. They were taking off or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast. But just doesn't seem like a really, really good time to jump on a plane. I'm just saying. And the Burbank to Vegas plane had problems. The fire on the plane that was headed east Jeez, 25 people injured in the turbulent flight. I'll tell you more about that later in the broadcast. But next, we're going to talk with State Senator Shannon Grove, who has been an absolute warrior when it comes to advancing stricter laws against human trafficking. Gavin Newsom has signed her most recent bill into law. We'll talk about that. 4 o'clock, top of the hour, Mike Turnipseed will join us. And 4:30, we'll talk about the GDP jump with Daniel Petrie. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The White House says President Trump has sent Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to the Middle East to save lives and end the humanitarian crisis there. Witkoff arrived in Israel on Thursday to address the worsening crisis in Gaza. Witkoff and U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee plan to inspect food distribution in Gaza on Friday. Countries worldwide are rushing to finalize trade frameworks with the U.S. as President Trump's deadline for new tariffs approaches. Trump has agreed to a 90-day negotiation period with Mexico, keeping a 25% tariff in place. Mexican leader Claudia Sheinbaum called the talks very successful. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 330 points. The Nasdaq dropped 7.
Who? Oh, Shannon.
This
Okay.
is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. It's been a year since the Burrell fire burned up 30,000 acres in northeastern Kern County and destroyed homes and businesses. It's been learned that the driver who caused the fire had a blood alcohol content over 3 times the legal limit. 46-year-old Keith Mulkey started the fire when he careened off Highway 178, struck a wall, and crashed into the canyon. His truck burst into flames, starting the fire. His parents said he was supposed to be at a rehab facility in East Bakersfield at the time. A suspect has been arrested in connection to the attack in Arkansas that left a couple dead. They were reportedly killed in front of their children at Devil's Den State Park over the weekend. The children were not hurt. The husband, Clinton Brink, is reportedly from Bakersfield. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Here's comedians and Skechers getting comfortable. Presented by Hands-Free Skechers Slip-In.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as slip-ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers slip-ins, you just step it and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, slip-ins are for the whole family, men, women, and kids, in all your favorite Skechers styles. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days, now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, the latest on the deregulation of oil permitting. We got more farmers turning their land into solar farms. We got that. We got news. We got traffic. We got weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
842-537-6842-KERN. Coming up at the top of the hour, Mike Turnipseed will join us as per usual. Bottom of the hour, 4:30, our buddy man Daniel Petrie. We'll talk about the 3% GDP jump as Democrats still holding on to hopes of a recession and the economy sinking and the globe stop turning, and they just keep getting disappointed, don't they? It's really incredible. Meantime, speaking of a liberal Democrat, Gavin Newsom signed AB 379 into law Wednesday. This increases the penalty for some offenders who solicit 16 and 17-year-olds for sex and other things. And here to explain that and how she helped get it across the goal line and some controversy that involved the whole process of this is one of our favorite people, State Senator Shannon Grove. How are you?
Hey, Ralph, how are you?
Outstanding, thank you. Let's start with the ridiculous part of this. Talk about the controversy and the amendments and how this thing first started.
Well, so we found out a couple years ago that selling a child for sex was not a serious felony. So a guy could get convicted for selling a kid for sex. The girl's 12. He'd get out in 4 years and go back after her when she's 16. So we got SB 14 passed, not without controversy. It actually died in the state assembly, and the governor actually had to resurrect it because it was a political nightmare for the Democrats, and then they passed it and got it out. Dealing with sex trafficking in the state of California should not be this difficult. Then our survivor groups came back and they said, look, the trafficker at least fed us and clothed us, but once the buyer paid for us, it was brutal, like they owned us. And they described some of the most horrific things that could ever happen to a human being. Once a buyer felt like they had purchased them and they belonged to them. And so we went after buying or purchasing, soliciting a child for sex. Obviously, we went after adults in the first place. That was immediately killed. When we went after the children piece under the age of 18, controversy again with SB 1414, they excluded 16 and 17-year-olds. They said, oh, they can make their own decision. And no, we can't limit them. They could be out on the street needing money, and some of the most ridiculous arguments you've heard of. But we had to make a decision to either protect 15 and below from being solicited and being purchased for sex, or the bill died. So we took 15 and below. This year, I was so happy to be joined by Maggie Corral. She is a Democrat out of Sacramento area. She actually took down Backpage. She's was a federal prosecutor. She's just an incredible individual. And so she introduced 379, which is the one we're talking about today that the governor signed yesterday. So she introduces the bill, and she also throws in loitering, like creeps hanging around for the intent to purchase, right? Because loitering is it is now the law, but before the bill was signed, it was not. So it was to protect 16 and 17-year-olds to get a felony, because before SB 1414 protecting 15 and below, and this bill 16 and 17-year-olds, it was just a citation, or possibly, if it was egregious, 2 days in jail. That's just long enough to explain to your wife where you've been. So this carries a 1-year prison sentence and a $10,000 fine if you're loitering for the intent to purchase, meaning that these creeps that stand around these schoolyards for low socioeconomic disadvantaged communities, or hanging around areas where they shouldn't be hanging around, they're going to go to jail.
Yeah, and Democrats tried to shoot that down, saying that it targeted minorities and the poor.
Yes.
What?
I know. They use that. It's like, what? I mean, the numbers, all the numbers that come up on whether it's a federal human trafficking database or a state human trafficking database, it's poor Black women, it's Black girls that are trafficked and the victim more than anyone else. And the average perpetrator is 35 years old and white, just like this guy from Davis. It was a UC Med student. And some of the stuff that he did and was convicted for in Sacramento County was just atrocious about what he did to these kids. And so they just made this argument. And then they actually, not only that, they tried to, Maggie was Assembly member Corral was a brand new member. And so they stripped her of the bill, like, I'll teach you a lesson. And they stripped her of the bill, took it away from her, gave it to another a member of the Democrat legislature, totally took it away from Maggie, took my name off the bill. We're going to rewrite the language. And then they got so much pressure from media outlets like you guys and KCRA, and all these people were just saying this is ridiculous. It shouldn't be that difficult to protect kids. And then they had to she got back on the bill. We got it through the Senate last month, and then the governor signed it yesterday. So now it is officially illegal to solicit a minor for sex in the state of California. It's illegal to loiter for the purposes of the intent of purchasing someone, like purchasing someone.
Yeah.
It's like slavery. We're still talking about buying human beings.
Mm-hmm.
It is now illegal for that. And it is a serious felony that carries a strike offense and a life sentence in prison on your third strike for selling a child for sex.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you,
It
Jesus.
shouldn't have been that hard.
It really shouldn't. That's what I don't understand. I really don't. I can't get my brain around that.
It was all about their big argument was, like you said, this disproportionately affects people of color, and that's just not true. They're disproportionately the victims that have protected them.
Yeah. Talk about the Survivor Support Fund. I thought that was a good idea.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and Maggie did that. So you know what we found was working with these survivor groups, like Odessa Perkins here in town, right?
I was going to bring that up. I was.
Yeah, Odessa, here in town. So the money, the $1,000 fine, will go towards counties, distributed different counties, and they can use that for survivor support groups. And those dollars will be available for individuals to do intervention specialists, like Odessa, right? These girls that she comes in contact with, and that she has been mentoring and loving on, and telling them that they're better than the life, detouring them. She struggles. She's having her gala coming up in September. We're selling tables, but it's so much money. The money that she raises, she can do more with $65,000 than most people can do with $500,000.
Yeah.
Because these kids trust her. They trust her, and she can just like snap her fingers and get onto this girl, and or she can empathize with them because she's been there and done that.
Yeah.
So she's just an incredible human being. And if it wasn't for our survivors like Odessa, like just all of them, Jenna McKay, the ones that Ashley, the ones that stood up every single time and said, this is what happened to me, and you guys are saying it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I know, for the 3 people who don't know Des Perkins' story, give us the Reader's Digest version, because I know you could talk till 6 o'clock about her incredible life and the turnaround and how she has become an absolute superstar in this community. KGET nominated her for Woman of the Year, and she is just a mentor to so many young women.
She's just an incredible human being. She was trafficked. It's a lot of trafficking that takes place in the state of California and elsewhere. It's familiar trafficking, which is like a family member that traffics your child or your sister or whatever. And she was part of that. So her mom trafficked her when she was little. She's got a book out called Warrior. It describes, I had to put it down. I'd read a chapter, put it down, take a few days off. It's just something you can't read.
Yeah, it's a tough read. It is.
This horrible, horrible way that she was, brought up and raised. The same with like Russell, who, a young boy, his mom made him go upstairs and quote unquote pay rent, right? And so it was like he was 16 years old before he realized that his buddies didn't go upstairs and pay rent.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you take Des and what she's been doing, and she's starting a new job today, and she's the intervention specialist, and she goes out with these kids and she can spot them a mile away, and she just, intervenes in their life. She really is like an intervention specialist. She intervenes in their life, and she shows them what greatness looks like and how they can get out of that, to focus on education and the things that will get them out of the situation that they're in. She's changed so many lives. She's helped so many girls get out of this particular horrific lifestyle. She stopped a lot of them from going in it. And then she turned from, human trafficking victim to survivor to thriver. And now she's got a nonprofit. She's working to rescue girls all the time. She's just been nominated for, like you said, Channel 17 More Remarkable Woman of the Year. She's gotten many awards. She was our lead witness on SB 14, and she got up there and she just told it like it was. And when Reggie Jones Sawyer from the Assembly Public Safety goes, I appreciate your story, but we just can't support this bill because it and she's like, can I talk? And I go, yeah, give him a minute. You got to let him finish. And she just laid right into him and said, I've had all these people, it's all public, crawling all over me. It don't matter what color their skin is when you're 7 years old.
Yeah.
And you guys have to stop this. And and it was just like, no one could have said it better than Des. Like she just did such a great job. and she's doing a wonderful job with her nonprofit, and she shows these kids things that they've never seen before.
Absolutely.
And it gives them hope.
Yeah,
She's
it does.
I love her.
Yeah, I do
Just
too.
love her. She
She's
does a great job.
phenomenal. She really, really is. Absolutely. Any further legislation being worked on to help fight more human trafficking?
So this year, the session is over in September. You have to introduce new bills in November. We're
Yeah.
working with Maggie Carell. Like I said, she took down Backpage. She's prosecuted hundreds, if not thousands, of human trafficking cases. She's the expert in this field. And I feel so good. You know, it's like you work on this subject matter and you almost have PTSD because of all the horrifying things that you hear and you know, the stories that you hear. But to have somebody like Maggie coming in to be able to pass the baton to, because she really cares about their survivors and she listens to them.
Yeah.
She doesn't publicize them. She's the right person to take this over. I'm sure work on something together next year, and we're excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll leave you with this. I would be negligent if I didn't ask you any thoughts on the current political landscape and all the moves that are going on, and Kamala not running for governor, and maybe Rick Caruso, a former Republican who had to change to a Democrat, but I think is still a Republican, possibly getting in the race, or who might follow you, and what may happen in the assembly. Any thoughts?
You know, I just say that, you know, California has really we've got the greatest opportunity we've ever had in several decades to be able to flip this state red and get a Republican governor, or a governor that will support business and the oil industry, the ag industry, because California feeds and fuels this nation. We really, really do. And I think we need a law and order candidate. I'm excited about where the numbers are showing, and I'm excited about the shift, like down in Los Angeles and Palisades, and you know, the really very populous cities that are really struggling with crime and homelessness, and really feel like the Democrats have failed them. And I think we have an opportunity to take this state back and make it red.
I think so too. Always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for doing what you do in terms of human trafficking, and thanks for taking the time and coming on the program.
Thanks for inviting me, Ralph. It's been a while.
It has. Don't be a stranger.
No, not at all. You have a great day.
You too.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks again.
Bye.
Shannon Grove. You really should get Des Perkins' book, Warrior. It is amazing. It is a hard read. It truly is. Imagine being trafficked by your mother. Quick time out. Check the board, see what you all are talking about. Mike Turnipseed will be in here at the top of the hour. We'll talk money with Daniel Petrie. Got some miscellaneous news and notes to get to. We'll unpack the airline incident. Delta flight leaving out of Salt Lake City, headed for Amsterdam, had to be forced out of the air at 37,000 feet. We'll get into that, and why one of the Epstein victims' families is upset with the president. That's all coming up. And the deadline for Major League Baseball trading is expired, and a lot of things have gone on, including some moves that the Dodgers have made. We'll get into that after they lose the final game of a 3-game set with the Reds last night, 5-2. In the meantime, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Friday edition, Clay and Bach will break down the latest on the unprecedented stalling from Democrats inside of the Senate. Senator Mark Wayne Mullin from Oklahoma will join us to talk about what's necessary to be done to combat that. Plus, Ryan Gerdusky with some eyebrow-raising data trends. Good news for Team America. Friday edition, Clay and Bach.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We don't have any ceremonies, do it natural stuff. We don't American ceremonies, do it natural stuff.
Looking for flooring?
Hey.
It's on sale at America Ceramics. Looking for
You know why we don't have her on that
It's on
much?
sale at America Ceramics.
You know why we don't have
Shower
Shannon
towels.
on that much?
Yeah, that's on sale too at America Ceramics. At America Ceramics, everything you need to transform your space is marked
I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/.
Why are all the lights out?
Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show.
We turned them off early this morning. Just never got turned back on.
Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
La 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 la. Ah. Da 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 da. Ah. They got a real thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going down. They got a real thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going down. Ow, we want the funk. Gotta want the funk. Ow, we want the funk. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Again, I want to thank State Senator Shannon Grove for joining us. What she has done for human trafficking is just absolutely amazing. It truly, truly is. And she's right. I think there's a great opportunity this coming years. I really do. And I think I watch out for Rick Caruso. He is the gentleman who was one of the few businesses that survived the Pacific Palisades fire because he got his own fire department and knew the situation because he used to head the Department of Water. But I think he wants revenge because I think he can't get his brain around losing the incompetent Karen Bass, who's about as popular as the Democratic Party with approval rating around 19 to 21%. And I think he wants to be the mayor of Los Angeles more than he wants to be governor. But I think now that Kamala has decided not to run, that might change his mind because there's a great opportunity for someone. Do you know who they have? And we'll talk about this later as the front runner right now. Katie Porter, failed Senate candidate and not very popular congresswoman from Orange County. Unbelievable. And we told you, we went through the names yesterday. Tony Atkins, Elena Kornelakis is being backed by Hillary, but doesn't really have any name recognition or any type of cue. I can't remember them all. The superintendent of schools, the brother, I can't remember, it's Tony Thurman, Antonio Villaraigosa, Steve Copeland, who is an unknown businessman. It's just a group of no-names. Xavier Becerra is also in there, former Health and Human Services guy, and Betty Yee, who's also a former controller. You see what I'm saying? Like y'all are like, who the hell? Who is that? Are those players in the WNBA? Because I ain't never heard of Betty Yee. 842-5376, 842-KEIN. What do you got?
Nothing at the moment, actually.
Nothing. Nobody wants to talk to me. All right. Mr. Turnipseed will join us in just a matter of minutes. I'll tell you a little bit about this flight. They were coming out of Salt Lake City. It was a Delta flight that was headed to Amsterdam. That's a weird connection. You know what I'm saying? Mormons headed to Amsterdam? I guess there's more in Amsterdam than just,
Is there, though?
Not really. I didn't think. I mean, it's a beautiful country. But I would think that most people, is that not safe to say that most people that are going there to experience Amsterdam as we know it, or as it's become known for? I don't know. It's just coming out of Salt Lake City. But anyway, the plane was at 37,000 feet and hit what is called extreme unseen turbulence, where it can be, and I heard they had some woman on this morning explaining it, where it can be absolutely perfect. You're just sailing along. It can't get picked up on radar. It can't be seen. And all of a sudden, they're radioing, we're having a problem maintaining altitude. And this thing is just nosediving. And 25 people were injured. And there was, at least from early reports, and again, as I tell you, whenever a story breaks, that's when you're going to get the least, most unreliable information. But nevertheless, is what we know. There was at least one medical emergency on the flight. They were forced to land in Minneapolis, I believe. But I mean, this just terrorizes me, because my only fear normally has always been takeoff and landing. And then once I get to 37,000 feet and the seatbelt sign is off, I keep it on. First of all, if I'm in my seat, my seatbelt's on. That is the first rule of flying. But that's when I'm comfortable. That's when I'm sucking on my vodka and cranberry and looking out the window and enjoying the flight. And all of a sudden, you're diving. I've never experienced that. I've experienced the drop, where you just kind of drop out of nowhere. That is enough to soil your pants. But I've never experienced the nose dive that these people apparently experienced. And do you get on a plane in Minneapolis for Amsterdam?
After that?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, but it's still standing on my belief of I'm not touching a plane for at least 2 years.
But if you're going to Amsterdam, you probably paid for the hotel and
that's fair.
And you got all your
No
luggage.
other way to get there.
Yeah, you kind of gotta go, don't you?
You can call a boat, figure something out.
Call a boat. Yeah, take the Queen Mary out of New York. Yeah, that's a good idea. See you in a week.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I'm so glad I chose not to go to Vegas next week. I would be a nervous wreck, particularly in the wake of the Burbank to that plane that had problems, that avoided another plane on its way to Vegas. That's my flight. I don't fly out of LAX when I go to Vegas. I go out of Burbank, baby. That is my flight. Just like, it's crazy out there. And they're investigating. They're getting more information on the helicopter that crashed in DC. I'm still convinced she did that. I am absolutely convinced. And I've got some more audio of the India flight where it's clear that the captain, at least they believe this, was the one that shut down the engines. Planes just don't fall out of the sky. I just don't want to be on a plane these days. Just don't. We head into the 4 o'clock hour. It's our regular guest time. Michael Turnipseed will lead off, bottom of the hour. We'll talk about the GDP drop by 3% with our money man, Daniel Petrie. It's all coming up right here on the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com and on YouTube as well.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The CIA and the Department of Justice have declassified new documents related to the Russian collusion hoax and have sent the material to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Bob Agnew reports.
Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement the DOJ provided Committee Chairman Senator Chuck Grassley with previously classified information relating to what she called Special Counsel Durham's investigation into possible coordination between the Clinton campaign and the Obama administration to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. The CIA wrote on its X account that the disclosure, quote, further advances President Trump's directive for maximum transparency. Bob Agnew reporting.
The Department of Transportation releases a long secret list of its most overdue and over-budget projects, revealing billions of dollars in taxpayer money committed to projects that can't seem to get across the finish line. Correspondent Bernie Bennett reports.
The list includes an interstate redesign in Columbus, Ohio, which is running nearly 20 years behind schedule and double the initial costs, and California's much maligned high-speed rail, which costs have tripled. Those and 13 other projects account for more than $12 billion in federal taxpayer money committed to assist state and local officials who struggle to complete the improvements. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy provided the list to Congress, and Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst made it public Wednesday. She said she wants to expose some of the biggest black eyes for central planners in government. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Long-standing concerns about military helicopters flying in crowded airspace and worries over staffing among federal aviation workers have emerged as key factors in investigators' inquiry into the fatal mid-air crash between an Army helicopter and a commercial airliner earlier this year.
You can't talk about
Wall Street, the Dow down by 330 points, more at townhall.com.
Well, I can turn it off.
Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. I've always
Yes.
been a strong believer in precious metals investment, and I've always been fascinated with rare coin collecting. But owning the
So what's really going on? I haven't played golf in 4 weeks. I've been struggling with gout. And then I got even worse news. My PSA is at 3.7 and 4 is abnormal.
Finger. They could do the finger.
Well, no, he thinks it's an infection. So he's got me on antibiotics for 2 months.
Who's this?
Cothery.
Cothery.
And then in 2 months, I got to go see him. And if it's still problematic, I might have to have a biopsy. A little worried about that. I looked it up, though. It says, like cancer, because, and I don't know whether I like this about Hevel or not, but he's blunt as hell. Because I wrote to him, I said, am I close to, or do I have cancer? And he said something like hard to tell, but I think it's an infection. I said, could I be, or am I close to cancer? He said, hard to say, could be an infection. I'm like, that's not what I wanted to hear. And he said, I sent in an antibiotic.
You don't
Once
know until you know.
Yeah. He said, I sent in an antibiotic once. You could settle down.
Your PSA
Start-
is just your indicator that when it moves, it's time to pay attention.
Right.
Which means fingers next.
Yeah.
Just say, stick this finger up your ass and get it over.
Well, I just had that like a couple of months ago.
Oh, you had that?
Yeah.
I've only had that done one time because I've done the PSAs forever.
Oh, I've had it several times. I just had it with him in last November.
Oh no, I have had it done one time, way early.
They've
now
changed
that
it.
the tests have gotten better though. The PSA tests are
Apparently. This
Yeah.
is just out of a blood test.
It's just a blood test and you're done. And they didn't used to have it. Before that, it was they felt it to see if it felt, whatever happened.
God, if it's not one thing, it's
Let's
another.
don't talk about PSAs.
Yeah, no kidding. Grab your headset. Did you put the mic? Yeah, you put the mic on you.
Yeah, I got the mic on.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday, final day of July. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live, kernradio.com. Our money man, Daniel Petrie, joins us at the bottom of the hour. We'll get into the situation with the family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims and why they are not very happy with the president. Talk a little baseball, a lot of trades going on. Correa is back with the Astros. James Outman is no longer a Dodger, but we did pick up a pretty doggone good reliever. Much needed. We'll get into that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But in the meantime, it is a Thursday. Time to bring in the executive director of the Kern Tax Association, Michael Turnipseed. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen, actually live in studio. Say hello to all our YouTube subscribers.
Hello, YouTube subscribers.
240 strong, Jack.
I hope you have more people listening on the radio.
Yes, I'm sure we do. We'll have 1,000 subscribers by Christmas.
That's good.
Is that a good? Would that
Well,
be
I
a
don't know
good
what that
pace?
means, but 1,000 is better than 200.
Doggone
So I
skipping.
mean,
Doggone skipping.
Yeah.
I think they're enjoying watching the broadcast.
look at all the podcasts that go on. And Ralph, if some of the people who do podcasts
Yeah.
are successful, you should be successful.
No kidding. I see some of these podcasts and I'm like some woman went on her podcast and claimed that The View got canceled. And I'm like, that is so stupid. They're on hiatus. But how you can get in front of a microphone and spread that nationally so irresponsibly. She obviously didn't do any research. She just heard that they were shutting down and just assumed that they got canceled and went on a podcast and spread that. How is that possible? There should be some kind of podcast police.
Well, that's freedom of speech.
But you shouldn't be able to repeat lies or incorrect information, and there should be some ramifications for putting out bad information. You should be suspended.
Well, then half the podcast would be off the air.
Well, good. As well they deserve to be, God dog it.
It's a freedom to get up and say what you want. And I look at some of these guys that have lots of people, and a million subscribed listeners and all this, and I'm going, really?
Yeah.
I said, where's the fact check? I said, they spread what they want to spread, and it's free speech.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what it is. And so now the sad part is how many people rely on a podcaster as their main source of news.
Many, the young folks. That's why we've lost
They're
generations.
old folks too. They're the old.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the old folks are a little more skeptical. I would at least like to think that.
I
It's
would
like
hope
there's
so.
some stuff I won't even repeat because I'm fearful it can't be true. Because now with AI, Like I saw a thing, I was talking about this yesterday. I saw a thing where Aaron Judge was like, I got to get off this crap team. Aaron Boone's an idiot. Giancarlo Esposito couldn't hit a ball out of T-ball. It was all AI. It was all AI. And had he not gone crazy stupid, I might have believed it was real. Because there's his face. His mouth is moving in sync with the words. And yet I know it can't be true because no ball player talks about teammates and their manager like that. I was just like, this is not right. This thing is out of control, Mike.
The ability to, for me, I don't care. I'm not out there. Okay, giving the speech and say, can I sound like Ralph Bailey now? I don't even begin to know how to do that. But
No,
I can
it's
ask,
AI.
But it's also AI when I ask a question. You know, it used to be a search, and you can say, okay, I need to research this topic, and you put your topic in, and it shoots it. And okay, then you could ask another question on that, and it rewrites it or adds more background. I'd like to know more. And it's a tool for me, but I'm not in the market to write a speech, have your voice do it, and do that kind of thing. I mean, that's crazy. That's going to be. It's going to get much worse because you're out to embarrass people. People are out to make people look stupid,
Right.
and that's just going to get worse and worse and worse. But for the average person who listens to the voice, well, that's his voice.
Yeah. Let's talk about politics.
Yes, sir.
Big bombshell. Do you expect Kamala Harris to stumble staggeringly, haphazardly into making an absolutely smart decision? I was shocked. Shocked, I say.
Well, I think I think I saw where her husband is now a lot. You know, he was a successful attorney.
Right. What's
I
that
mean,
gonna do?
he's teaching law school at USC now.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, you get
You
the
think she
nice
didn't
part.
run?
Wait,
You think she didn't run for governor because he's teaching at SC? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
After the things that candidates go through, and you were talking about the other candidates for governor, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to be running for governor. There'll probably be 15 people on the ballot.
You think there are more people going to jump in?
Well,
I don't think
because
so.
we have that open primary. The Republicans' top 2 voters qualify for the finals, and there's already what 3 or 4 or 5 Republicans.
It's not party. It's not party driven. It's the top 2 vote getters. Period.
Yes. Period.
So there could be no Republicans on the ticket.
It's an open primary. It's everybody's in one pot, and so you could only get if you got 10 or 15 people running for governor, which there always is. Some guys get like 2 votes. The wife and it goes on, and so
I don't think
your top 2 candidates both will probably just barely qualify with 25% of the vote or higher.
I don't think any more people are going to get involved. I mean, why do you think that? There's a long list already, and there's some big names. And do you know who they've got as the front runner?
Katie Porter.
Can you believe that?
No,
Porter?
but she can raise money. She knows how to raise money.
Yeah.
She's from Orange County.
Yeah.
She's plugged in. She's been in Congress.
But Orange County's changed. Orange County used to be John Wayne country, used to be strong old conservative. And it is, at least when I was growing up, and now it's like purple, wouldn't you say?
Well, Kern County's changing too, you know.
Yeah. But we're talking about Orange County and Katie Porter. Don't you think it's kind of purple now?
Yes.
They're trying to change the name of the damn airport that they may already have from John Wayne. I'm like, what? Duke is spinning in his grave. What are you talking about?
Well, it's just like what we've done at military bases now. You don't like somebody, do people in change the name?
Well, that's a whole different story. I don't want to talk about that. But
history's history.
Can Steve Hilton, because I don't want to break Donnie Youngblood's heart, but Chad Bianca doesn't have a chance in hell. But can Steve Hilton break through and be one of the top 2? He's their only hope. But P.S. Look out for Rick Caruso. Look out for Rick Caruso.
I was going to say, he demonstrated. He ran for LA last year, right?
24
and 24. It wasn't 22 already. Was it 24?
That was 24, I think.
Yeah, and he lost
to Karen Bass.
And
I think he wants revenge. That's my only thing. But I'm just praying that Kamala's bombshell makes him think, oh, maybe we can go a little higher than mayor of LA.
He has
Tell his story real quick.
Self-made guy. He's a multi-billionaire real estate. What's the shopping center he has there by the
Pacific Palisades?
No, but his big one is the Grove.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
The Grove is his.
I did not know that.
Yes, but he's got shopping centers all over Southern California. He's a very smart guy. He's been chairman of the USC board of governors, board of directors for a long time.
He used to run the Department of Water.
But he understands how to get things done.
Yep.
When he got the weather report that the winds are going to be this way, he lined up firemen, tankers, everything to save his properties.
He was one of the few in Pacific Palisades that survived because he saw the tea leaves, and that's what makes him brilliant. And that's why I think he could screw around and get in the final too.
I think there will be Republicans that vote for him.
Oh, absolutely. Even though he's changed to a Democrat, he did that because he lives in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And he just wasn't viable because the only reason he lost to Karen Bass is because he has an R behind his name. That's the only reason. And now that she's been exposed as incompetent, and he was one of the lone heroes during one of the most major crises in Los Angeles, he is a viable son of a gun.
He was viable before, he's viable now. It's just the grassroots politics of the time. And no, I think he could make a very good president.
I agree. And I've always
said, I don't know
how
he fits in the new world of MAGA and the whole thing now, and we'll see how MAGA goes. If everything I hear, the MAGA world is just waiting breathlessly to see what Epstein and Trump story, how that turns out. Did Trump really know?
The Guilfoyle family thinks so, or Gouffre. Is that how you pronounce that?
I think,
Gouffre?
yes.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. They think so. They really do. And they're not happy with what he said today or yesterday. This whole thing about he stole their daughter from him. She was a spa worker. And so that they inferred from that he must know something about what was going on. And they are not happy. And I can't blame them.
I can't. He has already set. He's probably had more press meetings, interchanges with the press in 6 months than any other president in history.
More than
4 years.
I was going to say more than Uncle Fluffy for sure.
Fluffy, Nixon, Bush.
I mean, it was daily conversations with the press.
2, 3 times a day. Every time he gets a chance with a microphone, he's part of that media. It's just part of him thinking that everybody wants it. And I think too, that gets old after a while.
I don't mind it. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
And we're going to see the long term, like the inflation thing right now. The tariff inflation hasn't even hit yet because this growth they had in the last quarter, and they're grounding how the last quarter was really good.
It'll hit tomorrow. Isn't that the deadline?
Well, that's the trade on invoices, but there has been so much activity, people stocking up pre-tariff. Because if things go up 25% tomorrow, everybody's filled their warehouses, and that was good economic building. So that was a false bump in the economy. I listen to just people today that every warehouse in the United States is full right now. If it was coming from China or where the stuff was coming from, and so Now you have inventory, so you're not going to be buying more. You're not until you get back to normal. They bought all this cheap stuff. So,
Do you agree the next 3 months is really going to determine where the economy goes?
I think it'll probably take longer than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the impact. So you already have all this stuff in warehouses. How long does it take for that supply to kind of clear through and the prices that really adjust? You're going to have a blend of pre-tariff and post-tariff prices. So you have to figure out what's it going to be 6 months from now.
Yeah.
But I think by the fall.
Who are the 2 candidates for governor? Look in your crystal ball.
I don't think any of them are confident enough to be governor, but I will think that Katie Porter is going to, because she has money and she's a fundraiser, and she'll be one of them.
Yeah. What's the future for Kamala Harris? Is she going to go? Is she going to butt heads with Gavin Newsom? Really?
I think it'll be 2016 over again then, if that happens.
What does that mean?
Well, she gets in it. It has to go through a primary, and she can't stand up to go into
That was
debates.
2020. That was 2020. No. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2020.
2020.
When
okay.
Biden first ran.
And
yeah. she had a big moment screaming at him at the first debate, and then pulled out right before Des Moines started, right before Iowa started. I mean, that's what people forget. She is a failed candidate. It wasn't just the presidential candidate of 24. It was that failed bid in 20 where she tried to pull an Obama and put all her money and staff in Iowa, and they weren't getting along, and people were quitting, and it exploded, and she didn't even participate. And then when she became vice president, it was the same thing. She lost like a quarter of her staff in like the first 6 or 8 months. This woman is not a good politician.
Well, obviously, she's very hard to work for.
Absolutely.
And her staff just says, we're not putting up with this. We don't have to put up with this. We go somewhere else. And so I don't think she's going to be viable in anything.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Because there are people now trying to figure out who are the viable ones. And depending 3 years, 2 years, 3 years from now, I think it's going to be a Democrat who can win a Republican state, like maybe the guy in Kentucky, Brashear. What's his name? Brashear, the governor of Kentucky.
I'm not certain.
Yeah,
I like Josh Shapiro.
He could be one.
He scares me. Absolutely scares me. I'll leave you with this. I'm 63 on Sunday. I assume that my gift is in your car.
I didn't know it was your birthday on Sunday.
How is that possible? We've known each other for how long?
You've never told me when your birthday was, and I haven't asked.
Always good to see you, sir. Finally back in studio with us. Let's make this a regular thing.
What will be?
All right, outstanding. Mike Turnip Seed, everybody. Quick timeout. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. We'll talk money with Daniel Petrie. It's a Ralph Bailey show. Don't go anywhere. Let's play Saturday.
I'll think about it. I have a lot of stuff to do. I've been July's been kind of, I was at the beach with my wife. My wife rented a house over there for a month.
Yeah.
That's why I was gone. If I had nothing on my calendar, I wasn't going to drive to the beach here to be live on your show.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So, and as we're getting older and health is changing and those type of things, I got to be a little more fluid.
I think lunch is my turn, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
What do you mean, probably?
It's been a while.
Yeah, you bought a Pyrenees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you bought a Pyrenees.
Whatever the case may be.
Let's go.
I thought you had gout.
I do. I'm not even sure I can swing, but I need to get out there. I haven't played in 4 freaking weeks. It's just right there, right when I turn. And all my weight's on the left side.
Why don't you put a little ankle brace on? It's one of those things you put on your ankle.
It's gout. It's uric acid in my foot. That doesn't. I mean, I twisted my ankle, but that doesn't hurt anymore. I twisted my ankle Thursday night, which made it even worse. I was almost cured. I was almost walking. In fact, I had a tea time with Randy last Saturday at BCC.
Randy,
guy down the hall.
Oh,
and I couldn't make it. After I twisted my ankle, I wasn't drunk, as everybody asked me. Am I such a town drunk? Because everybody asks when I say I twisted my ankle, everybody's like, were you drunk? Like, no, I was on my way to get drunk, but I was walking into Mexicali and I freaking rolled my ankle. And
you're getting old, Ralph.
And
You
this
know,
PSA
I used to walk looking straight ahead. I walk looking down now. Because the step that you just used to always make, you're going up a step or something, and sometimes you miss it because you got to look at it. And
I hear you. What's the weather like this weekend? 97. That's not too bad.
no, it's not. 95 here is nice.
I know. That's what I've always said.
Over 100.
And we'll be off the course by 11 o'clock. Get like an 8 o'clock time.
3 hours.
Ain't nobody gonna be out there. And Zucchini's cut me off. I haven't heard from him. I called him once to hear how his Italian trip went. Haven't talked to him in a month. It's weird. Very peculiar.
Your old friend left town.
Who's that?
Holly.
I know. She texted me right before she left. That's unfortunate for me. She was fun. She was a nice girl. Odd woman. Really odd woman.
Your kids, she had 2 kids, and she was always unmarried since I've known her.
That's what I'm saying.
Her kids are both very successful,
and she's going to live with them, right?
Yeah. They can support mom.
That's odd. At her age, living with your kids. She had a beautiful house out there in Brighton Beach. Beautiful house. Beautiful. And the best bar I've ever seen in my life. I think she's a bit of
I don't know.
I think that's part, you got to take your mic off. And I think that's part of the reason she's moving with the kids, because I think there might be an issue there. Just unclip it like a clip. There you go. There you go. Bye, Mike. Bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Mike Turnip Seed, everybody. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Talk with our money man in just a minute. Anybody joining on the board there? I disagree. I think Rick Caruso could be the next governor. And I think once you're governor of a state with more than 50 electoral votes, you have a great opportunity to become the president of the United States. And I think we have an opportunity to kind of flip the script here and make some end runs. I think David Valdeo is going to hold his seat. And I think there are going to be surprises up in Northern California. I totally disagree with that. I really do. I think that people are not really comprehending what is going on with the Democratic Party. They are at the lowest approval rating ever because on major issues, they're on the wrong side. And not only are they on the wrong side of major issues, but they're on the wrong side of major issues that are 80-20. Transgenderism and men participating with women, that's an 80-20 deal, and they're double downing on it. Now they've got a representative of their party running for mayor in New York, and he's a damn near communist. And now that guy, I forget, Zombie, whatever his mama, whatever, he's now praising the police because they buried the police officer that was shot by the local kid from LA and from Las Vegas. And everybody's screaming hypocrisy because this is the guy that wants to defund the police. And I keep telling you guys, and I'm not sure now that Cuomo got in and he's going to split that vote on that side between he and Adams, but I just can't see New Yorkers electing a mayor who is anti-police. We head to 21st and Oak, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Daniel Petrie is next.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. 2 top leaders in a rural Texas county were asleep and a third was out of town in the initial hours of a catastrophic flood that caused widespread destruction and killed more than 130 people. Texas lawmakers began questioning local Kerr County officials over their preparedness and response to the deadly July 4th floods. Lawmakers have filed bills to address improving emergency communications and providing additional funding for affected areas. Rainstorms are lashing the East Coast from Virginia to Connecticut, flooding roadways and delaying flights from Boston to Washington, D.C. Social media posts showed vehicles stranded in pockets of high water and water pouring over a train in Manhattan's Grand Central Terminal. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The Kern County Sheriff's Office warns residents about the latest ongoing phone scam where callers impersonate KCSO staff. Residents reportedly received calls from someone claiming to be with the sheriff's office, telling them they've missed jury duty, failed to appear in court, or ignored a subpoena. Payment is demanded in Bitcoin or gift cards. Calls are made using spoofing apps that display what looks like an actual KCSO phone number. Former Vice President Kamala Harris will not be running to be the next governor of California. She's decided that for now, her leadership will not be in elected office. She says that her work will be geared toward helping more Democrats get elected to office during the cycle. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking if necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
It's the JR Show.
So Assembly Woman Dr. Jasmine Vance decides she's going to run for Congress, which means her seat is open. But wouldn't you know it, Mr. Never saw a seat I didn't like except for the one I'm sitting in. City Councilman Andre Gonzalez, before the seat even gets old, decides he wants to run too. Well, if this is our way of getting Andre Gonzalez off the City Council, I say good riddance.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
It's a Thursday, and I'm having a really bad day. A really bad day. I got another text from my doctor. I was also looking at your x-ray. Looks like you may have a problem with your fourth toe, so I'd like you to see Echeverry and have him take a look. Great. Great. On my mother's birthday, 3 days before my birthday, and I'm falling apart like a 39 Edsel. In the meantime, we're off to 21st and Oak to bring in our money man, Daniel Petrie. How are you, sir? I have no idea. He simply said he wanted to get an x-ray, and we took an x-ray, and, you know, because I've never had a gout bout for 4 weeks, I haven't been able, you know, I'm walking almost normally for the first time. Like the last 2 days, I was trying to stand on one foot on the show yesterday. I'll try it again. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I can almost do it. It just hurts like a mother to stand on one leg, but now there's something wrong with my fourth toe. That's just beautiful. That's just wonderful. I know. I have no idea, but. Well, don't ask Deion Sanders that, because they took 2 of his. What was that related to? Was that related to diabetes? Yeah, that's crazy. Just had part of his bladder removed with a tumor, a cancerous tumor. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Absolutely. For you to have diabetes so bad that they have to take your toes, that means you haven't seen a doctor in years. That's just, yeah. That's what I always thought it was related to. You know, I absolutely thought maybe it was related to his turf toe, because you're right. That followed him throughout his career. I think that happened even when he was in Atlanta. Then it followed him to Dallas and San Francisco. Yeah, there's no excuse for type 2 diabetes. There really isn't. If Ralph Bailey, who was at one point was in the 7s, high was like a 6.9, can get into the 5s just simply by watching what I eat and drinking more water than anybody, and just staying away from sweets. I was a cupcake donut fool. I remember when I was a fatso, I once ordered donuts at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I swear to God. I ordered like. Oh, I was bad. I was bad. I was a candy freak. Yeah. Yep. I had a piece of banana pudding, a piece of banana pie, a banana cake the other night. That's about as close as I've come to anything really sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. We saw the GDP jump by 3%. That is. Right.
Boy, Trump sure wants him to cut.
Yeah.
It pushed back the Fed expectations. The market still expects a cut by the end of the year, but 2 cuts is now pushed out into 2026. So
yeah,
it's hard to know. I mean, and of course the tariff thing. I saw a thing today that he raised tariffs to 35% on somebody, but I mean it's still. But he is getting deals done.
He really is. That EU deal was gargantuan.
Yeah, the trade deals are coming through. So,
and isn't it accurate to say that we've never seen the stock market the way it is right now? I mean, this is historic. Yeah.
And then I think gold and silver even more got monkey hammered a little
Okay. All right.
Unless you want to go now.
No, what else? Whatever you got.
Well, with Powell's testimony, of course, and gold and silver typically do well when the dollar does poorly, and of course, if the Fed's lowering rates and printing, then the dollar will. But gold, when I last looked this afternoon, was at 32.91, down almost 2.5% for the week.
Really?
Almost lost all.
Ooh,
I mean, a month's worth of gains have gone 2 or 3 days.
that's incredible.
Yeah, and silver, believe it or not, was down 6% for the week.
6%.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the same thing. It lost about a month's worth of gains in a few days. But as they're it's a volatile asset class, and it's like most things, it's the escalator up and the elevator down.
So, as an investor, how do you handle that? Do you just have to be patient? Should you panic and sell? Or just how do you go about dealing with this roller coaster ride?
First, you got to figure out what your underlying thesis is, whether you're bullish or bearish. And let's say, for instance, I'm bullish, and you get a time like this. So what I do is I actually start nibbling. You know, maybe clients have come, pared back. It's not worth as much, and they have extra cash. Then I'll nibble a little bit because prices are cheap. But if I was bearish, I would have probably been not nibbling, but selling here 4 or 5 days ago because prices had a pretty good run.
Right.
But again, my longer term thesis and continues to be bullish, and I think that will prove it to be accurate.
Yeah. So no more talk because, of course, the Democrats predicted by summer we'd be in a recession. They pretty much shut that up, I suppose.
Yeah, Epstein kind of trumped any kind of, because if they start throwing out the recession, it's like, well, show me in the numbers where that is, or wouldn't the stock market be signaling that trouble was ahead?
Yeah.
And they really can't dispute that, so then they go to their flavor of the week.
So what happens when many of these tariffs start to set in and the prices get impacted?
I think we'll be okay as long as I think the market has long anticipated. When he first announced it, it was like, oh my gosh, and it tried to factor in the worst case scenario. But aren't most of them running around 15%?
Yeah, but I think Mexico's at 25, if I'm right. I'm not sure.
I think as long, there's a possibility that some of the prices can be passed on, but
And he's talking about a global tax as well, because there's so many countries. He said there were 200 countries, and we might just go to a kind of a global 25 to 30% tariff. That scares the hell out of me.
yeah, that doesn't. What's odd about that is why it seems like we've been so country oriented with the tariffs. Why all of a sudden go to a global?
Yeah.
I hate hearing it if it's true, but I don't know if he means it or this is just extra pressure to, hey, let's get that last trade deal done.
Right.
It's hard to know.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So far, I think the market is signaling that we can tolerate it and it's okay.
Yeah. Daniel Petrie is our guest, as he is each and every Thursday. You can reach him at his office, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors at 21st and Oak at 395-9400, 395-9400. Do you expect Jerome Powell to do something before the end of the year?
Yes, I think he'll make a cut before the end of the year.
Yeah. Late year, November, December.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to right now. I don't think he wants to. But even if he did, I think he thinks it would appear political, and he doesn't want to appear political.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't. You could make an argument either way, but not that they need to be cut, but maybe they're too high.
Explain.
Nuance. The market moves those rates ahead of the Fed usually anyway. It does matter, but it's almost like an official reckoning of what has already happened in the market.
Yeah. Walk us through why Trump is so obsessed with lowering it and why Powell won't capitulate.
Trump is a big, this is my opinion speaking here. I believe Trump is a big, he's obviously a big real estate guy. He obviously likes leverage to expand. We're talking history here, not necessarily now. Use leverage to expand his empire. You can use more leverage if interest rates are low. Obviously, most people can relate to that. Like, well, we couldn't afford the home at 7%, but if interest rates are 4%, we can afford it. It's the same principle, you know, when you borrow money to make or want to buy a bigger place.
Right.
And he deals in big sums. So I think he views lower rates as a means to an end. Like, everybody's going to win. I'm going to buy a property. I'm going to create jobs. I'm going, you know, it's trickle down effect.
The only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine.
So he thinks it's, you know, it's manna from heaven, I think, in his world.
Yeah.
And he thinks raising them is just making it difficult for not just him, but all business owners to do what they want to do, which is grow and make a profit.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah. One of the problems we have, though, is if interest rates stay low for too long, of course, then your $15 doesn't buy what it did last year. You need 25 to do it. And so that's how some people mistake their wealth, because they count, well, the $100,000 I have is a lot compared, you know, but the $100,000 you have won't buy what it would have 10 years ago. So you lose purchasing power. So you have to get returns on your money.
Right.
And of course, people like Trump typically do that. So they don't worry too much about even a 10% inflation, because we're making 15 or 20%.
Yeah. I don't get it, Daniel. I really don't. I hope he's right. I hope he's right.
He is an enigma. He is different. And nobody can predict the future.
And you don't know whether he's posturing or he really wants to do this.
And things are so political that it becomes much more about fear the other side than let's help him here so we can help America.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him and Powell together? I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
I did too. And God bless Trump for he just puts it out there.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for Powell.
Yeah, it was like a husband hanging out with his ex's husband. You know what I mean? It just was uncomfortable, and yeah. And I know you don't like me, and you know I don't like you, but here we are. Yeah. By the way, have you seen the video? And I'm asking you too, Chris. Have you seen the video of Trump at where is he? Turnberry in Scotland, cheating at golf. He cheated at golf. He absolutely cheated. He hits it in the gorge. He's pulling up in a cart. He's got two guys ahead of him, and you see one of the guys drop the ball like Ajab in Goldfinger, a famous golfing scene in Goldfinger, and the guy totally drops the ball, and Trump gets out of the cart and hits it. It's like, damn. Yeah, I'm the president of the United States, and I don't have time to look for this ball. Put another one down there. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
That right there is why I think a lot of Democrats can't stand him, because he's just, you know, I've been around other people where they don't mind that they cut in line if they get away with it, because it's just the way things are. And and most people are like, you can't do that.
Yeah. You know who another president was famous for cheating? And this is according to Arnold Palmer. before he died? Bill Clinton. Oh, dude, he'd say Bill Clinton would have an 8-footer and he'd pick it up and say, that's a par. It's like, dude, it's 8 feet. Exactly. Exactly. All right, sir. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'm off next week, but Romeo Agbalag will be talking with you. He's hosting on Thursday. Yes. Let me guess. $29 billion. That's just simply remarkable. That's as consistent as me picking sports events. Really is. It's absolutely remarkable. All right, man. Have a good weekend. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no kidding. Thank you. I'd like to have 10 toes. Daniel Petrie. Quick timeout. We'll check the board again. Nobody's really chiming in today, but we'll see if there's anything in there. If not, I've got some miscellaneous news and notes to get to. I've got some incredible audio. Did you get that Hunter Biden audio I sent you? I wasn't even aware that Charlemagne had a separate podcast. Is that who that guy is, Andrew Schultz? You got to edit, though. You got to stop it right where Hunter finishes speaking because Charlemagne drops a little F-bomb after that. We'll play some Hunter Biden. You won't believe. Remember that podcast where he claimed his dad was on Ambien? And wait till you hear this. This, I'm telling you, if you're pulling up in your driveway and about to get out of the car, sit in the car for about 5-6 more minutes and listen to this Hunter Biden audio. We'll play it when we come back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. On the Friday edition of the First Look program, the latest on the deregulation of oil permitting. We got more farmers turning their land into solar farms. We got that. We got news. We got traffic. We got weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. Good news, the 2025.
Hey, give me until after the 5 o'clock to run this audio because I'm just realizing their producer drops a shit in there as well, like in the middle of Hunter's explanation of how to. Like, come here, like I'll show it to you.
Months and zero due inside. That's right. Nothing but your John Hancock on a brand new EV. Subaru Solterra comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Test drive the Solterra. Sangera Subaru.
Okay, start it right there. Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about.
Give me a little bit. I can pull the audio and I'll just cut that part out so that way we don't have to worry about Charlie.
All right.
But I'll have it ready by like 5 o'clock.
Okay.
7,500 miles here, 11.15 cents per mile over, MSRP $41,656. $095-326.
I'm the thread that's already inside the house, in the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money.
You got your Huckabee and the Trump audio still too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with that now. Is there any text messages? Any text messages? No? Oh, that's weird.
I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family.
I'll be there.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
I'm going to do the Huckabee.
Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm.
Yeah, we can go ahead and then excise the Bee Gees from the rotation. Not that I didn't listen to the Bee Gees when I was a kid in the 70s. I totally did. Everybody did. The era of disco. It's a fun time, dude. It was such a fun time. Clubs were hot. It was a fun time. House parties. Like, kids don't even have parties anymore. You know, they still trash their parents' home when they leave, but they don't have like traditional parties like where there's dancing and food and you just kind of kick it. They just don't even know how to deal with one another. It's just crazy. It really, really is. Some folks have called in about Clinton and Kristen Brink. They are the local folks who were killed viciously in an Arkansas park. They were going on a hike with their 7 and 9-year-old, and someone called in and said that Clinton went to Foothill and that Kristen was a volleyball star at Liberty High School. So they were definitely raised here in this community. And I think they moved twice. I think they moved to like Montana initially and then to Arkansas. And absolutely no, the reason it's making news today is because the suspected killer, James Andrew McGann, was arrested in a barbershop in Arkansas. Here is Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee.
And deal with that level of tragedy is something that no one should ever experience and something that we never want to take place in our state.
And now the 7 and 9-year-olds are orphans. They witnessed the murder. And as I said at the top of the show, at that age, they know, I mean, they knew what was going on. If they had been 3 and 1 or maybe even 4 or 2, maybe they could have forgotten it, you know. Because I was 4 years old, we lived in Tennessee, and I barely remember Tennessee. I don't remember it at all. But I was 6, 7, 8 when we lived in New York, and I have vivid memories of that. And this is something incredibly tragic. They're going to remember this the rest of their lives. And so we all just have to say a prayer for those 2 kids that they can somehow withstand this and still be productive adults that don't have PTSD for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's traumatic enough to see someone killed, let alone your parents, both of your parents viciously murdered. And is there a more vicious, more personal way to die than to be knifed to death? Just these random acts of violence just doesn't make sense. I just can't understand, and I never will. God, life is so wonderful. And we've lost, and it's young men. I believe this kid, this James McGann, was 28 years old. It's 18 to 30-year-old men who have absolutely lost their way and just don't give a damn. Just don't about their own future. At 28, this guy had to be smart enough to know there was no way he was going to survive. I think that's my new doctor. Quick time out. I got to answer this phone call. We head into the 5. You'll hear from Donald Trump. We'll talk about the Giuffre family and why they are so upset in regards to what he said about their daughter, Virginia, who was one of the survivors until, unfortunately, she took her own life. We'll get into that next. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Countries worldwide are rushing to finalize trade frameworks with the U.S. as President Trump's deadline for new tariffs approaches. Trump has agreed to a 90-day negotiating period with Mexico.
Hello, my name is Priscilla. I'm a nurse calling from Dr. Cawthorn's office. I was just trying to reach you regarding your most recent report for a test that you did. I wanted to let you know Dr. Cawthorn did review it and he has made a referral for you. And if you can please return the phone call and we can give you more information. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for choosing Dignity Health Medical Group. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. If this is an emergency or you require immediate medical attention, please hang up and dial 911. If you feel like this is a mental health emergency, please hang up and dial 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are a clinician, a clinician's office, or facility, press 8.
Si desea asistencia en español, por favor, presione el número 9.
We are now offering Saturday clinic hours for non-life-threatening illnesses for adults. Visit us at 9500 Stockdale Highway, Suite 200, Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Appointments required.
For appointment inquiries, press 1. For medication refill or to speak to a medical assistant, press 2. For referral inquiries, press 3. For clinic address and hours, billing, medical records, calls may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes.
Sterling Sharp,
we invite
dude.
you to participate in a
He
quick
played
2-minute
7
survey
years
at the
in
conclusion
the
Yeah,
of
but
the
he was a
call.
beast.
We value
He had
your
2 years of 100 catches, and that's it.
Dude, he was a beast, though.
No!
If you saw him play,
67 catches one year, 69 one year, 55 another year. That's not a Hall of Fame player.
that was a
7
different
years
era.
in
It was
the
a
league?
different era. I'm telling you,
88?
he was a beast. He was better than his brother. I'm telling you.
But he had the stats.
Yeah, but he was an
and Shannon had a much longer. 7 years ain't that long.
That's why it took so long. But if you look at his highlight reel, dude, he was a beast.
One touchdown, 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns.
Oh, comprehensive, quality, and compassionate medical care. Your relationship with your primary care physician is a valuable asset in the pursuit of health and life satisfaction. The best way to begin this is to schedule your recommended annual wellness visit. We believe in healing power of human kindness. Our goal is to make the practice of medicine fulfill the promise of medicine by providing you and your family with comprehensive.
The fire when he careened off Highway 178, struck a wall and crashed into the canyon. His truck burst into flames, starting the fire.
Hello, and thank you for choosing Dignity Health Medical Group. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. If this is an emergency or require immediate medical attention, please hang up and dial 911. If you feel like this is a mental health emergency, please hang up and dial 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are a clinician, a clinician's office, or facility, press 8.
Si desea asistencia en español, por favor, presione el número 9.
Asphalt and repave the road. There will also be restriping as
We are now offering Saturday clinic hours for non-life-threatening illnesses for adults. Visit us at 9500 Stockdale Highway, Suite 200, Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Appointments required.
For appointment inquiries, press 1. For primary care, press 1. If you are a new patient, press 1. If you are an established patient, press 2. Calls may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes.
We invite you to participate in a quick 2-minute survey at the conclusion of this call. We value your feedback and use it to ensure we are providing the best experience possible to our patients and families.
We believe in the healing power of human kindness. Our goal is to make the practice of medicine.
You've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio. Here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday, final day of July, and a beautiful young black woman's birthday in Los Angeles. My now 83-year-old mother celebrating her birthday today. Want to thank everyone. I posted a picture of her at Knoxville College in Knoxville, Tennessee. Want to thank all of you guys for the nice comments. I don't think she's seen it quite yet. She's running around LA. And just want to thank everybody for the kind words. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Again, as I talked about, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this name, Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre. She was one of the women that worked for Donald Trump as a spa girl as a teenager. That's where Jeffrey Epstein met her, according to the president, and that he stole her from him along with several other employees. Trump insists that's the reason that he and Epstein split. The liberal news media is reporting that it had something to do with the real estate deal that Epstein won over Trump. Here's what the president had to say on Air Force One.
Hired by him. In other words, God. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, you don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want you taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Meantime, the Giuffre family thinks that that implies that the president has some knowledge. Because remember, this is, if the timeline works out, what Trump is talking about, him taking this young woman and getting him to work for her at the island or at his estate in Florida, that fell on the heels of Trump sending the note that said something to the effect that Jeffrey enjoys younger women. So now the Giuffre family are asking, well, what more do you know? At that time, this was a good friend of yours, and he's snatching up your young teenagers for what? And they wrote, it makes us ask if he was aware of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal actions. We and the public are asking for answers, and survivors deserve this. And they're absolutely right. And it seems like every single time the president opens his mouth and makes any allusion to this thing, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, at some point, Pam Bondi is just going to have to release it all. As I said from the very get-go, just release it all and let the chips fall where they may. And the only reason I could see, because I find it hard to believe that if they were to release this information, that there'd be some smoking gun that could tie anyone to this situation, because a lot of people went to that island and not all of them were pedophiles. And how do you determine who was a pedophile and who wasn't, who was there for nefarious reasons and who wasn't? The thing that I don't understand was why wasn't Virginia Giuffre, why wasn't she questioned about who was all involved? She was a victim. Why isn't the Justice Department, the FBI, or anybody else, Congress for that matter, not focusing on the victims and getting them to talk about this? This was a massive, massive criminal conspiracy, essentially, with Ghislaine Maxwell as the head pimp. So why have we not heard? It is impossible to think that this was all done by Epstein and Maxwell. So then why have we not heard testimony or witness statements? You can, again, like I said yesterday, this is easily redactable. You don't have to have names. Obviously, none of these people want to relive this thing, but perhaps the momentum that all this discussion and the demands by the influencers and supposedly the MAGA crowd. And remember, I gave you a stat last week that showed, and it's a big number, but it's not a majority, that 40% of the base are truly concerned about this. And I don't know where that number stands now because there's so much that has happened in the last week. But again, the only way this thing goes away is if they simply say, here it is. Here's what we got. This is it. And the only conclusion I can come to for them not releasing this information is that he was a spy. And maybe Netanyahu is putting pressure on Trump not to release it, that he was an Israeli spy, which then creates a whole new rabbit hole. Like, were they doing these pedophile things to blackmail people? Who were they blackmailing? Was he working for the CIA? Was he working for both? Because it seems this is way beyond, oh, I was associated with Jeffrey Epstein and I'm afraid I might be implicated as a possible pedophile. I think it's gone way beyond that now. And I truly believe, because remember, again, I didn't cook this up in my apartment. This was based on Alex Acosta, who is a U.S. attorney in Florida, who gave Jeffrey Epstein one of the greatest sweetheart deals in the first trial, basically wrapped him on the knuckles. When Acosta had to know what a despicable, evil pedophile this man was. So then he goes up for labor secretary. He gets confirmed, but in doing so, has to testify that Epstein, he believes, was, quote, part of intelligence. He didn't say Israeli intelligence. He didn't say the Central Intelligence Agency here. And then he's run out when it's come to light what an incredible, ridiculous deal he created for Epstein as the U.S. attorney. And then finally he's retried and allegedly commits suicide in his New York cell. I am so incredibly tired of talking about this. I can't even explain it to you. But yet every day I say, I'm not putting this on the rundown. Trump says something, a family speaks up. I just won't go away. Just won't go away. And it's not going to go away until he lays all the cards on the table. It's that simple. 842-5376, 842-KERN. You got anything? What do you got? Did you clean it up? All right, here it is. All right, just for you. Here it is. This is incredible. We had to clean it up. There's a ton of Biden, so obviously there's cursing involved, so we had to clean it up a little bit.
That's it. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mini jar of cocaine and baking soda. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it binds with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all.
That's all. Can you believe that? And there's still people scratching their heads as to who the cocaine left in the White House belonged to? Really? Like, if I'm a crack cocaine addict, I don't ever mention the word crack again in my life, let alone as the former president's son going on and insisting that crack cocaine is safer than alcohol. This boy, I'm telling you, I think his mama dropped him on his head. This boy is beyond stupid. It's an insult to stupid people to call this man stupid. It is an insult to Fernando Jara and the many albatrosses that are holding down their lover or their wife or their husband or their father, because this kid is the boa constrictor of albatrosses around one's neck. Can you imagine when Jill and Joe heard that? Jill, is he really on a podcast explaining how to cook crack? Did he just say that crack cocaine is safer than alcohol? That everybody perceives it to be dirty, but it's actually clean? Hunter, the reason we think it is dirty is not because of the components. It's not because of its chemical makeup, you stupid idiot of a human being. It's because it's a dirty drug that manipulates your mind and your body, and at the end of the day, creates a numbskull like you. You are the poster child for why nobody on this planet should be smoking crack, because your brain is fried, son. It's gone. It's gone. You've got your father's not even in office, and you've gotten him into more trouble in that same podcast, screaming and yelling about him being on Ambien, which was not on the list of prescribed drugs from his doctor, and certainly a drug in the top 10 of drugs that a leader of the free world should never take. Holy crap, Israel's bombing Iran. Joe, get up. Get up, Joe. Joe, the Russians are going into Ukraine. Joe, wake up. I lived through Billy Carter. Who once got off a plane back in the 70s when we used to have to walk on the tarmac and took a piss. Yes, and his brother was in the White House. That's why they talked about Billy being sorry. He walked off a plane, just pulled out his pants. Whoo! Ooh, yeah, boy. That you can only rent that Billy beer. You can't own it because it comes right out of you, boy. Ooh, yeah. And they got pictures of it. He looks like a saint next to this idiot. It's really a clean drug. Is it safer than alcohol? Yeah. And I don't want to teach people how to make crack, but here's how you make crack. Unbelievable. And he doesn't understand why we perceive it as a dirty drug. He really thinks it's the components of the chemical components that makes it dirty. Son, you lose your teeth, you lose your life. People are out on these streets living and sleeping on the ground because of crack cocaine. Are you really that stupid? I think it was the car accident. I don't think he's been right since he was a kid. Let's go ahead and take a break. I heard that and was just like, God help me, I'm wrong. You guys know what I predicted, that he might run for president. God help me, I'm wrong. And then there's this part of me that hopes he does run, because that national spotlight, we get to talk about the life and times of Hunter Biden. That'd be kind of fun, actually. Let the national media, but how much will the national media get a hold of him? Fox will eat him up. But MSNBC and CNN will cover for him. Unbelievable. Crack, did you know that, though? Crack is safer than alcohol. So we should all stop drinking and start smoking crack. Just an odd man, just an extremely odd man. Quick, we got to step aside. We come back. We've got lots to do before we get out of here. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Tomorrow's a Friday. Don't forget, Rick Bentley will join us. And where's my lemonade, kids? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Got it right here. The neighborhood lemonade stand was today, where a group of young folks are out 910 Fairway Drive, Old Stockdale, from 11 to 1 today. They raised money for Honor Flight. We're going to have them in here in studio tomorrow. Give them a nice pat on the back and break down how much money they raised for Honor Flight, which, again, wheels up, coming up in October. In the meantime, you're listening and watching on YouTube, for the subscribers, The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com. Yeah.
In addition, Clay and Buck will break down the latest on the unprecedented stalling from Democrats inside of the Senate. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma will join us to talk about what's necessary to be done to combat that. Plus, Brian Gerdusky with some eyebrow-raising data trends. Good news for America. Friday edition of Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Isn't it remarkable how consistent we continue to fall into debt week by week by week? And each week it's consistently $29 billion. You'd only know that by listening to Daniel Petrie. That's why he's such an important cog on this broadcast, as you just heard over about an hour ago, right here on the Ralph Bailey Show every Thursday from 4:30 to 5 o'clock. Daniel has, as you all know now, just an incredible economic knowledge, and his political awareness helps you understand what's going on in the Beltway, what legislation is doing economically, and how it impacts your wallet. And you know, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about retirement. And if it's staring you dead in the mug, call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400, or be sure to tune in every Thursday, even next week when I'm gone. He'll be here at 4:30, and his office is located on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
We are under no obligation to update our views.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shopping is fair, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Phone call? 842-5376, 842-KERN. We still got a lot to talk about. Talk a little Dodger baseball. Thankfully, Shohei Ohtani seems to be healthy. I don't know why they brought the trainer out. I think he was just getting crazy, a little wild. But I didn't get a hit yesterday, though, did he? Just saying. I don't think he's ever gotten a hit when he pitches. I really don't. Who you got? Who? Caleb. You're on the Ralph Bailey Show. I think it was an American flight. I think it was an American.
Well, your flight was the Burbank to Vegas one.
Yeah.
But that one, yeah. Anyway, I work for an AI company that provides solutions to airlines and airports, and it's safer than ever to fly now. Prior to the fatal crash in DC with the helicopter in January, the last fatal crash in the U.S. was 2009. But I know the news tends to polarize that stuff right now, and it's a great story every time a plane lands. But it is incredibly safe, and you should not feel nervous to get on an airplane.
Even though that flight had to do a 500-foot dive to avoid another flight, another plane.
Well, the thing is, that happens. That happens maybe not that drastically, but flights dive all the time for turbulence, that sort of thing. It's just now a front page news story when it happens. Yes, it's extreme, but I wouldn't feel unsafe to hop on an airplane.
And 25 people hurt on the flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. Just hit 37,000 feet, and they just hit some crazy turbulence, and everybody's flying all over the plane.
Unfortunately, that's not preventable, but what is so great about aviation in America is our pilots are so trained. He got that plane down, he got them safely on the ground, whereas if you're in another country where it's not as safe, they might not be able to take those evasive maneuvers and make the matter worse.
True that.
When you're cruising at 37,000 feet like that, to your point, I recommend always having your seatbelt.
Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Caleb. Thanks for the call, man. It makes me feel better. All right, you too. Yeah, that's the way you got to look at it. Like I said yesterday when we were talking about this, or maybe it was even earlier in the week, just think about the flights coming out of Meadows. How many flights leave there? Think about the flights that are leaving out of LAX. What do you think flights leaving out of LAX in one day? It's got to be at least, it's got to be in the hundreds of planes. That's just LAX. We're not talking about Burbank. We're not talking about Ontario. We're not talking about San Francisco, Fresno. We're just the state of California. You are safer in a plane than you are in a car. What made your eyes get all big? What are you looking at? How many? In a day? 645 a day? So 1,500 a day. Yeah. Come on. When was the last time you heard a plane go down in LA? 1,500 a day. Oh, don't get me wrong, Jack. I'm not getting on sober. Not getting on sober. Just not. Sorry. You call me a drunk alcoholic. I don't give a damn. Now, I'm not drunk enough where they wouldn't let me fly, because nowadays they're looking out for drunks. And if you're so inebriated that you'd have problems getting off the plane, or you may not be able to maneuver the door, they will not let you. I watch this almost every night. People getting kicked off flights and refusing to leave. Then they've got to evacuate I don't understand that. Why they have to evacuate the whole plane. Why can't you just evacuate her row, maybe the row behind the person that's acting a fool, and the row in front, send them to the back of the plane, and then muscle this fool off the plane. But do you know what happens when somebody goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Everybody has to grab their stuff and get off the plane and reboard after they drag the fool off the plane. You know what a pain in the ass that is? And now you're 10, 15 minutes late, and you might have a connecting flight, and it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in the skies. I watch them every single night. There's a classic where one woman caught her man cheating, and she beat the crap out of him with her computer. They took her to jail. Last half hour, don't go anywhere. Randy says Sterling's not a Hall of Famer. I'm gonna tell him if you've seen his highlight reel, he was better than Shannon. Yeah, dude, you gotta watch. Oh, I'm not watching that. You gotta watch the Hall of Fame speech and watch Sterling's highlights. You'll walk away saying he was a badass.
Hall of Fame there's just not enough longevity for me. I need more than 2 years of 100 catches. That's just not good enough for the Hall of Fame. I think they just ran out of candidates.
No, he had a neck issue that ran him out the league.
Hall of Famer. Bo Jackson, not a Hall of Famer. He would have been, right?
I think Bo belongs in, to be honest with you.
He's got better stats. When I look back at the stats, he was those 2 years, of course, he was fucking top, but that's just not enough. Like, they bring him out and then Antonio Gates, 16 years, 9 Pro Bowls, and you're like, oh, this fucking guy's not in the same ballpark.
Who's all in the class?
Eric Allen was the other one.
Okay, Eric Allen was good.
But he had
Most of his years was with Philly.
Yeah, he was good when he was on the Raiders Super Bowl team. He was the other corner.
Yeah.
And AJ Hawk, I think, was that right?
He was questionable.
He might have been maybe that's who it looked like. I don't know if it was him though.
I like Hall of Fame weekend. They've done it right, man. The NFL, yeah, they figured out.
Oh no, Jared Allen. He was a fucking monster from the Vikings. Their defense.
Oh yeah.
And that was another, long career. I mean, it wasn't a great player, but I would have liked a few more years.
I mean, that catch he made in the end zone, that 60-yard throw to beat like Detroit or somebody. I mean, he was a beast. I always thought he was better than Shannon. And now, did you hear Shannon on his podcast?
Like
his
half-hearted
explanation about ESPN and how he just wants this. It said the only thing I regret is that it has to happen on my brother's weekend, and they could have waited. And he's right; they could have waited, but I don't think nobody cares. You ain't got nothing to do with your brother. Is he introducing him? I would assume he's introducing him.
You made your bed, bro. You gotta lie in it, dude.
Yeah.
You fucked up. I feel like his ego has just gotten out of control.
Well, yeah, because he knows the whole world knows he got punked by a 19-year-old girl. That was her goal from the once she got her claws into him.
I want to know the number you paid.
I heard it was 20.
Damn,
$20 million.
Set for life, dude.
And this is what generates this thing. Because other young girls see this and they're like, are you telling me she was 19 and she went from being an OnlyFans girl, broke as a joke, and now she can't spend the money she has? She can't spend $20 million. Was she? I thought she wasn't that high.
Her face is what, but her body was fucking. But it's just, when you're an athlete, you gotta fucking.
And you've been through this. You were an athlete. You know how these girls.
Derek Jeter, that's who you take
Yep.
advice from. Ask him, hey, dude, what did you do?
You wear a condom.
Mhm.
You don't get close.
Video surveillance.
Yep, you don't get close. I wouldn't bring them back to my pad.
Not even being my own.
I wouldn't even bring them back to my pad. I'd get, you got enough money. I'd hotel with these girls until it starts to get serious. And you don't date a teenager in your damn 50s. Fool. Yeah. $20 million.
23.
Is he introducing his brother?
No, hell no.
No? Who is?
I actually don't know.
I bet he does. I bet he does. Last half hour of the broadcast, we are arguing. What do you all think? You think Shannon Sharp is introducing his brother? I think he is. No, the thing is tomorrow. Well, no, Saturday, right? Is it? I hope not. What time is the game's already started? No, they make a big deal out of this. There's like a dinner, and then they introduce them. They come like down a walkway and the whole bit. NFL's done a really nice job. They've got a great PR and marketing department. But yeah, it's a big deal. But you're right. Normally the game is on a weekend, so you might be right. But I can't believe they would do this on a Thursday night. That just makes no sense. Well, what is the plan this weekend in terms of Hall of Fame weekend?
You're actually right. It's on Saturday.
Yeah, at noon, the event. Okay. I mean, blood is thicker than water. I saw Shannon on his podcast, I guess apologizing, but just saying that he'd wish that ESPN had waited. So they could have waited a week. Why would they do this on the weekend when my brother's getting in? Because it's got nothing to do with you. Your brother getting into the Hall of Fame has got nothing to do with you. And if you don't have the balls to get up there and introduce him because you're embarrassed because you got punked by a 19-year-old girl who is now a multimillionaire and whose children and grandchildren will be rich because you were stupid in your mid-50s trying to hook up with a 19-year-old. What's the matter with these people? How could he be so smart? How could he have gone through the NFL all those years and all the celebrity that he's gone through and make such a stupid, I mean, this was her plan as soon as she got her hooks into him. And this is why this thing gets perpetuated. I was just talking about this with Randy. This is how it gets perpetuated because now if you're a 19, 20-year-old OnlyFans girl, shoot, you might start going to football games. You might start trying to hang out. Now, they just met dumb luck at the gym, right?
That's what they say. God knows.
Yeah, because I find it hard to believe that a 19-year-old is hanging out at the same gym that Shannon Sharp's going to. You know what I'm saying?
And just so happens that Shannon picks her out of the room at the gym. A 19-year-old, really?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is nutsy cuckoo. And you say you heard 23, I heard 20.
I've heard 23.
20, 23, it's the same thing. And now you're out of a job and just, God, it's.
And now I'm also hearing that he's being sued in a defamation suit by a lady for what he and Ocho Cinco said on their other podcast.
What'd they say?
Well, it was a video of Usher and Usher concert. You know how Usher gets kind of like up close and personal with some
Right,
ladies.
right.
And I guess there was a video that got leaked to this lady. They said that she or her husband immediately saw the video and immediately divorced her. She's claiming that she's never been married and that because they said that, it's going to ruin her life and all that. So
Ooh.
$1 million.
Ooh. If she's never been married, but see, then again, you got to prove defamation is so hard. You got to prove that they knew that and said it anyway. You can't win a defamation suit because people screw up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to knowingly know she was never married, but let's say she was. That's defamation. And she's got to prove how it's impacted her life, which is, again, hard to do. Like, how are you, what's been damaged? Your job? And if it has, then she might walk away with some money. but it's defamations are really tough, really, really tough. The most famous, of course, we're all waiting on, Mr. Macron, President Macron. In fact, that reminds me, let's delve in. We got nothing to do till the top of the hour. Here is the lovely Candace Owens, who has alleged, of course, that Brigitte Macron is not a man. Here she is. Let's see if I can find this audio. Please stand by. That's a Dodgers thing. Let's see. Yashimoto. I can't find it. I can't find it. Here it is. Oh, I think I played that one. Let's get the one with the. Here it is. This is Candace Owens on The Breakfast Club. Hang on.
Candace Owens is being sued by French President Emmanuel Macron. Candace Owens is being sued by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte. What? Yes, they are suing her for defamation in the U.S. because Candace Owens claimed that Brigitte is a man.
Oh my God. It is time for you to wake up. So we will start from the top here with a photo of Brigitte Macron. Real name, Jean-Michel Trogdeau. That person that you are looking at on the right is not a woman. Okay? Here is a photo, by the way. Just over the years, Jean-Michel Trogdeau, as he became Brigitte, as I said, the evidence for this is overwhelming.
Candace Owens is just hilarious. I want to tell people who's not a woman.
What?
Whatever.
Don't play with me. Let me see this woman that he's talking about.
I think this lady, she's had 3 children.
Oh, okay.
So listen, now Tom Claire is the attorney for the French president and his wife, and he was on CNN last night because a lot of people are wondering, number one, why would you wait? Because they've been saying that this has been a year-long broadcast tirade that Candace Owens has been on, regurgitating these claims that were online.
I just want the record to show I've seen stronger faces.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see
you know,
too.
I've
I've definitely seen stronger. I've seen stronger faces. Not my yet. Go ahead.
Well, let's take a listen to Tom on CNN last night talking about why they chose to file now after a year.
Why are the Macrons suing now? Well, this was really a last resort. We have attempted to engage with her for the last year, putting evidence in front of her, request after request after request, that she just simply do the right thing. This is not a legal thing. Do the right thing, tell the truth, stop spreading these lies. And each time we've done that, she mocked the Macrons. She mocked our efforts to set the record straight. She refused to retract what she had said. She started a merch campaign. She's selling T-shirts mocking and celebrating her defamation of them. And enough is enough.
And so Candace basically dug her own grave because your feelings are not facts. I don't know why people don't understand that in this era that we're in. And I also hate when people say, why are you suing now? Sometimes you just let people keep digging their grave.
Well, Candace Owens responded to the lawsuit. Let's take a listen to her response.
Are you floored? Because this is just goofy. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I got to give it to you. You've definitely got fire everybody around you. And I mean literally everyone around you who told you that this was a good idea, that this was a very good idea for you to be the first sitting first lady of a country to file a lawsuit against a journalist of another country. You are literally making history in all the wrong ways.
It's hard for me to believe Candace didn't expect some type of consequence.
Yeah, you can't lie on people, right? When you start lying on people and saying things like it's factual, you're gonna get sued and you're gonna get touched. And I think you should get sued.
Even if that's what you think, because your opinion of her, being a man, it's not facts. And then also, listen, I remember an episode of Cosby Show where, remember, he had the kids. Olivia was having a sleepover, right? And it was
Just
a kid
funny.
on there, right? And everybody thought that this kid was a little boy, but that little kid was Alicia Keys. So it's
That's
like,
a true story.
You can't, you know what I'm saying? We all talking about Alicia Keys playing the episode of Cosby Show.
The crazy part is I know exactly what you're talking about, but
Yes.
I have no idea what that got to do with this.
Because she's trying to say, I can tell him what I'm trying to say because he acting like he don't know what I'm trying to say. You just held up that picture and said, I've seen stronger faces. Yeah, she does, resemble a little boy when she was younger. But I'm saying, she a woman.
Alicia Keys resembled a little boy in that episode, but she grew up to be a beautiful woman.
Okay, gotcha.
Because she was a girl from the jump. Some of us look like little boys when we little. We grew up, and some of us look like grown men, but still, we are women. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm so sick of you trying to tell people who's.
All right. Again, as I've said, this is either the greatest breaking story in the history of journalism, or this woman is going to be an absolute pariah. And I'm guessing, where are you leaning? I'm leaning toward the latter.
I'm also leading the latter.
I think Brigitte Macron is, in fact, an incredibly ugly woman, but a woman nevertheless. I don't know.
Well, she's French.
I mean, she can write her own ticket if she's right. If Candace Owen is right, she can write her own ticket. My 3-year battle to prove that Brigitte Macron is a woman by Candace Owens. Forward by Ralph Bailey. Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Friday. We'll have the Lemonade Kids on to talk about their fundraising for Honor Flight. And, of course, Rick Bentley, KGT TV entertainment reporter. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So Kamala Harris decides not to run for governor of California, which is a good thing because she's not going to be the governor of California. But it's a bad thing because, one, I think she was beatable, but two, means she's going to run for president, which also means she'll have to do something she's never done before. Win a presidential primary, because last time she ran and won was 5 years ago, and she lost. Last year, she didn't have to win. She was anointed. Good luck, Kamala.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
NKST Health is proud to partner with Kern Radio. Now known as NKST Health, the North Kern South Tulare Healthcare District created in 1966 to improve healthcare access for the residents of Delano, Wasco, McFarland, Early Mart, and surrounding cities. Our GNC Family Clinic in Delano is now accepting new patients and open early and late. Call the GNC Family Clinic to schedule an appointment today at 661-725-1010. We offer free athletic physicals to youth and high school athletes from all area schools year-round. Our services also include family practice, pediatrics, and women's care, including OB service.
Hey, go ahead, do your promo real quick.
Yeah.
You're set up whenever ready.
Three, two. So Arkansas authorities have identified the suspect in the killing of Clinton and Kristen Brink. Clinton, a Foothill graduate. Kristen, a star volleyball player at Liberty, killed in front of their 7- and 9-year-old kids, allegedly by James Andrew McGann. Let's hope that justice is finally served. And I think this should be an absolute death penalty case. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Friday TRBS. Well, it's a Friday, so Rick Bentley, KGT entertainment reporter, will be here. And the Lemonade Stand kids that raise money in Old Stockdale for Honor Flight will join us as well. Give them a little victory lap. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3.
Duck Kitchen and Bath. Beautiful cabinetry. Smart design.
Hey, Siri.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the
Show me the
airport when I
Dodgers
dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the
Siri.
job at hand.
Siri.
Embarrassing, but
Show
I'm
me
not
the
alone.
Dodgers schedule.
According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch
Oh,
in just
get
10
this.
minutes. That's pound 250.
Joe Biden
Say
was
Mike
about
Rowe
to
to switch
speak
to
at
a
the National
no-nonsense
Bar
smartphone
Association.
and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
The Charlie Kirk Show.
Oh,
Weekdays
you
at
know
6
he's
p.m.
gonna screw
on
up.
News Talk 96.1
Why would they
and
do
AM
that to that
1180
poor man?
KERN. Now, back
If he
to the
comes on
Ralph
in the
Bailey
next 10
Show.
minutes, I gotta get an album. I gotta go get some albums. The only music machine I have is a old record player stuck in the back of my closet somewhere. I have an old record player. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Joe Biden, believe it or not, is about to speak at the National Bar Association Awards in Chicago. And if he takes the dais in the next 6 minutes, we're going to eavesdrop and hear him drop the ball. I cannot believe that Jill has still got him out on the speaking circuit and just out and about with his mental decline. He's battling cancer. He's got a son that's telling people he's on Ambien and explaining how to cook crack. And yet they're still shoving Joe out there. Got him all dressed up in a tux, and he probably doesn't even know where he is. And I'm praying that he takes the dais in the next 5 minutes. In the meantime, anything left on the board before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a couple here.
What do you got?
Airlines implemented the policy of deplaning the entire plane before dealing with a disruptive passenger after the United Airlines incident where they drag the guy off the plane bloodied up. They don't want people filming them dealing with a disruptive passenger, so they displane everyone else now. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but they have body cams and they put it on. We see it anyway. They put it on Facebook. I've watched it.
I would also think it's more of like collateral situation. Like, say the person gets disruptive, pushes the guy, and then they fall on some other people.
Right. Well, that's why I said, why can't you just clear out everybody in within proximity?
Within the area.
But you're right. As they're dragging him out, he could act a fool and throw an arm and hit somebody in the face, and then they sue the police department and the city and blah blah blah. Yeah, you're right. But can you look at? He's asleep. Look. Swear to God. Oh, you just missed it.
No, they're praying. They were praying.
Oh, they were praying?
Yeah, she's the lady's doing a prayer.
Oh, okay. I
Don't
was
worry,
like,
he's not
oh my
asleep.
God. He's asleep. That was funny.
No, that's why the lady in front of him has her
Yeah,
eyes closed as well.
I did notice that now. And now his eyes are open. Why aren't your eyes closed, Joe? You're praying.
Maybe he's worried everybody's
He's worried
asleep.
they don't think I'm asleep. Because I damn sure thought, holy Toledo, the man is asleep at what? Chicago's not on East Coast time.
they're
They're 2
Central.
hours. Yeah. So it's like 8 o'clock. That's way past his bedtime. I would pay to see this. I cannot wait to get home. I hope I can catch this. What else you got?
Sorry. Ralph, I think the reason that keyboard the entire plane is because they don't want people filming. Oh, D-board is what they meant.
I don't think that's it. I think Chris was right. I think it's the collateral damage that could happen as they drag the guys out, because the reason I see these things is because they're publishing body cam all over the place. That's one of the big algorithms on my deal, is police dealing with drunks, trespassing, and people that won't leave planes and airports. And again, I'm a sick son of a gun to watch it, but it just absolutely amazes me and stuns me, and I guess entertains me to watch people literally talk themselves into jail. I've never seen anything like it. I've been in a couple of situations and I have begged and pleaded. And in fact, one night did talk myself out of, check this out. I was living at the New Yorker and I was coming down the alley and I had turned my lights off and I turned into the parking lot and they were at the end of the alley and they pulled into my parking lot and like ran my license and was like, what's up? And you turned, your lights weren't on. And I said, I was in the alley. I was turning into my parking lot. And he said, that's still, you still have to have your lights on. And I was like, I wanted to go off. I was like, are you serious? And they got a little funky. And I was like, my bad, officer. I apologize. I did not know that. I'm just used to coming home and turning my lights off right before I turned into the parking lot. This was years ago with my old car, because now your lights automatically turn off. And they were like, we'll just give you a warning now. And then I had been drinking. They gave me a sobriety test. I fortunately passed it, but they were about to throw me in jail in my parking lot, all because I didn't have my lights on coming down the alley. Could not believe that. And fortunately, I had like 1-2 drinks, and of course, they never believe that's what everybody says. And I literally had 2 drinks, and it wasn't even that. It was a while back, and fortunately, I passed that thing, which is not. It's easy to fail that thing sober. I'm telling you, it really is.
That's why they had to stop doing the alphabet backwards thing.
Oh, I could never do that.
I
could never do that. I can't do that right now. Literally ZXYW.
Actually, you already messed up.
Did I really? See?
X and Y.
Yeah, there's no way I can do that. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. What else you got? One more. Let's get out of here.
Hey, Ralph, happy birthday to your mom.
Thank
Mine
you.
would be celebrating her 105th cycle. That's Rick Kreiser.
Wow. Oh, Rick, nice to hear from you, my brother. Your mom is a fellow Leo? We have a house full of Leos. My birthday's Sunday. My mother's birthday is today. My dad's birthday is 2 weeks from Sunday. He's August 17th. I was August 3rd. I am August 3rd. Jesus Christ, I just prophecy. And my mom is July 31st. And only my mom and I are the typical Leos in the house. My dad was not the typical Leo. He didn't need to be. In fact, he did not want to be the center of attention. He was always kind of the background guy. And but my mother and I are very much alike. like to be the center of attention, talk a lot, kind of natural leaders, and all that, not astrological or astronomical. What is it, astronomy or astrology? Don't tell me. It's astrology, all that astrological stuff. One more, and then I'm definitely going home.
Ralph, the Epstein investigation was done by the Biden administration. Who knows what they kept or found?
Well, if it were damaging, don't you think they would have released it? I don't know. I have no idea about this nonsense. I really don't. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to end. But I do know if the president and this administration wants it to go away, at some point, 3 words, release it all. Just release it all. I got to get out of here. Tomorrow's a Friday. Rick Bentley and the Lemonade Kids for Honor Flight. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Al Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. There was a funeral for a New York City police officer today.
At a mosque in the Bronx, mourners honored the NYPD officer killed in the attack at the NFL headquarters building. In a statement read from Officer Dieter Al-Islam's wife, she said to the family, "He was our world." To the NYPD, a proud officer. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says Islam saved lives.
He was out front. Others may be live today because he was the barrier.
Islam was working a department-approved private security detail in uniform when he was shot.
Correspondent Ed Donahue reporting. President Trump's tariffs are kicking in. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says nations will soon find out that